Oh, I'm, Ann and I are truly, gratefully humbled by this. One of my worst, nightmares, I think in bed last week or so. God, I hope more than 5 or 10 people come out. Yeah,
We made a lot of money, Shoney. Good for you.
all right. Yeah. No, that money, it's in Bert's hat. Have you seen Bert's hat? Get that money out of there. That's gonna turn the mold and that. Um, a couple other things, just before I get started, to rush your mind. It's so great to hear about 100 women in Ely who care. Because when I first moved here, there was nothing like that. The closest there was like a dozen women up the Echo Trail who did give a damn. So Ely has really grown in a lot of ways. As far as arriving here early, when Francis and I were running this thing, we got here at 10 to noon, and we could eat. Now, if you don't get here at 11:15, you're out of luck. So thanks a lot, Lacey. And if anybody does leave early today, that's fine, but you have to leave, early leavers have to take some free music with them. You might not have all seen, but out in the hallway, albums and CDs. CDs. You don't have to take them all the way to California. All right. The initial start for Tuesday group, or the seed, was some people got together to see the first Obama inauguration speech. And I believe that was at the boathouse. I wasn't there. Steve Bragas was there. I see some heads nodding. Nancy Powers contacted folks in the power group, and she said she was surprised 60 people or so showed up to watch that evening. That quite historic. And Steve Bragas and Dirk Hansen and Barb Berglund, I believe, decided that it was such a positive evening, they had to keep this feeling and everything going and get together on a regular basis and have discussions, maybe speakers, that maybe who knows what. But that was the whole seed of Tuesday group, and what it's grown into has been pretty amazing. They then met for a little while. I wasn't at the first meeting or two, but we had one, I believe, in the back room at Bertines. It's now inside. Probably gonna say no, but I'm gonna stick with it.
He'll just come up and contradict everything. Cranberries.
Cranberries. Okay.
The boathouse.
And then shortly after that, it grew to here to the gel. Steve and I were just talking a minute ago. One meeting with Steve and Nancy and I and one guy. And I'm pretty sure that one time there was just me and that one guy. And what we had is, we didn't always have speakers. We would sometimes just have like open forums. We'd have I remember one time we discussed wolf stuff, hunting, trapping, not trap, and we would just have sessions where people could bring a quote or a book they had and say, this is really cool, I'd like to tell you about this, and people could take 5 or 10 minutes and kind of have open discussion groups. Then it got to where we started getting regular speakers. People would recommend speakers from the group. People in the group would become speakers. We've had several people over the past. My son's coming to town next, for August, and he's a doctorate student in something, and he'd love to talk on his stuff. So we've got all sorts of cool things like that. People now call us to want to be a speaker, and we've had many speakers that have kind of been a yearly deal. Another, here, over there, we got a few people who said, how come Tuesday group is so progressive? I mean, it's like you're all liberals, Democrats, and neo-fascists, and everybody didn't know that the beginning was people who enjoyed Obama being elected president. That kind of gives you an idea. We've never turned down speakers for their view. In the past, we've had Steve Johnson from Isabella spoke about the Middle East situation, Palestine and Israel. This is long before the current terrible war going on. But he was pro-Palestinian. And somebody asked us, well, why don't you have somebody given the Israeli side of you? And I said, well, if you had a speaker, and they arranged a speaker that came. So we had that. We've had a lot of anti-mining views, of course, but we've also had publicity people from the mining companies come. And we once toured right down the road here, and they provided free lunch too. I haven't heard of that. So we've had, yeah, it's certainly a progressive group, but we've had and enjoyed people from both sides. We've had political speakers. We once had Chuck Dayton here when he was running for governor.
Not Chuck.
Mark Dayton, yeah. Chuck is good, buddy. No, Mark Dayton, yeah. We've had St. Louis County folks running for office. We've had been a tradition to have the Ely mayor kind of give the State of the Union message at Ely every year, every couple of years. Let me see here. We've had, early on, we did a lot of outdoor things, eco travel, wildlife researchers, people who've been on trips. We've always tried to keep it, usually our speakers go too long. You know, we're not very good at saying, give us about 10 or 15 minutes for questions at the end. And we have a lot of people that go too long. We had one guy, local guy, who spoke, I paraphrase, but his title of his talk was Ely is a dying town. Okay, oh, well, okay. He had statistics, he had school enrollment, he had the population of Ely, he had medium income, and showed how Ely was just way at the bottom comparing all of Minnesota. Steve Wilson, our friend from Isabella, who was at DNR for it, he said, you know, I kind of question how you pick your statistics. And I was thinking maybe you should have compared Ely to the whole state. Or no, compare Ely to towns under 5,000 instead of comparing it to the whole state. Well, so a few questions were brewing, and Steve and I were looking at each other, and the guy was packing up. He was getting this stuff all together, and then I don't have time for questions. But he left at like at 12:30. So not everybody, you know, he was just hurry stuffing his stuff.
He's in the back.
Okay, so couldn't have been more happy when Steve and I finally got to the point where we were saying, you know, getting a little tired doing all this. And it'd be nice if somebody else took over. Yeah, we agree with that. So we kind of let it be known that we wanted to step down. And Becky Rom, I don't know if she's here today, or Lacey could probably give the story of how did you come about to take over that? We couldn't have been more happy, obviously, for Lacey. Upped everything in the social media and made it, you know, so you couldn't get here at 10 minutes to and have lunch. Give a little on that.
Sure.
Because all I knew is Lacey's gonna do it. Wow.
Well, and maybe I won't remember this exactly correctly. Where's David? David Miller over here is on the board of Northeastern Minnesotans for Wilderness. And I believe it was David who was primarily conspiring with Becky Rom in collaboration to have Northeastern Minnesotans for Wilderness adopt Tuesday Group as part of its programming. And that was essential because as much as I was very fond of Tuesday Group, and Eric and I had introduced ourselves as new Elyites in 2019 at the incredibly persistent urging of Mr. Alton Brown. Thank you for that. I was very intrigued by the idea of hosting Tuesday Group, but not able to take it on as a volunteer commitment. And I worked at the dentist's office at the time, and I did work over the noon hour on Tuesdays. And so when NMW agreed to take on Tuesday Group and then make it a paid position, then I was able to justify talking to the dentist's office about having some Tuesdays off and being able to do this work as an independent contractor. So that support was essential in the retention of Tuesday Group as a program. And then eventually, as you know, I helped make it so that my schedule was more open in collaboration with the dentist, and then eventually pivoted to doing this full time, for which I'm forever grateful. So I feel very indebted to you, Steve Schon.
You're welcome to be quitted. You're very welcome to be quitted.
Yeah.
Let's hear it for Lacey. There's one more little aspect I want to mention. Also when Obama, between the time he got elected and then actually became president, he talked about volunteering in America. It kind of, you know, that we should be helping each other out and doing things. And it made me think of Kennedy's quote from years ago, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Okay, so there was a branch of Tuesday group that we would just have people call Paraguses. We put ads in the local papers and stuff, and people would call up, and we had Paragus employees and a few other folks, and we did some shoveling of snow for older folks, cut some grass, cleared some roofs, did cut wood piles, move furniture, a variety of things to where eventually we got, you know, this is great. I'm volunteering to shovel this gal's walk, but I'd like to have somebody come and shovel my walk. I'm getting a little old, so I got to tell you about one gal, our favorite gal, who we cut the lawn for several times a summer. And she had I believe, you know, this might not be completely correct, but I think so. She had her own gas mower that we got to use. And one of our guys was cutting grass in the backyard, and it hadn't been cut for a while, and there were bricks or rocks in the yard and chipped up the blades on her thing. So we volunteered, we take that to get that sharpened for her. And while she was gone, she was pretty sure that we were siphoning gas. Because she was a little worried, you know, and right, no, ma'am, we do not, you know, we just get that blade fixed. And there's gas that we didn't steal that from. And so we got back and we were doing it for a while, and all we had was her lawnmower. We weren't doing trimming, you know, by the sidewalk and thing that people gardeners and stuff do. It was all volunteer. Well, one day she asked us, how come you guys aren't, why don't you trim around that stuff? And I said, well, we don't really have that kind of equipment. He said, what kind of business you guys running in? So that's become one of our, a phrase, we use that all the time.
Yeah.
Anytime something's not quite up to snuff. What business are we running here? That's all I've got. Thank you very much. This is amazing, this turnout, and this is one of the things I'm really gonna miss, Ann and I are gonna miss from Ely, and thanks for coming out, and yeah, don't tell any mean stories about me.
Yeah. We would never.
Meatballs.
Meatballs are ready. Please do keep eating snacks. I told Patty I'm a terrible on-the-fly decision maker, and I guess we don't need to go down there. But there are fresh meatballs. So I'd like to open up the floor. I know Steve Paragus is gonna come say a few words. I would invite, we probably have 15 minutes for just anyone who wants to share some thoughts, if you would like to. Again, it can be a memory of Tuesday group, a thought about Tuesday group, a memory related to Steve or Ann, and the floor is open for a couple of minutes. I have some of my own things, but I'm gonna wait and sit on some silence. I can come to you with the microphone if you prefer. My first choice is that you come to the podium. If anyone is willing.
You got about 10 minutes.
I'm really inspired at some point to have some sort of Tuesday group comedy show and or.
Anybody get a roast they wanted to give? Shoney, what are you doing leaving town right now? You know, it's almost winter and the season is upon us. You're gonna leave now? And I know your sister needs some help. Why don't you bring her out here? And I saw that house, my bigger house.
You know, I've lived in Minnesota all my life and I've lived in Ely for 45 years and loved it. And now when I go out in the morning and walk the dog and it's 30 degrees, I go, what the hell am I doing here?
Well, that's maybe all of our, but we're all gonna do anyway. So Shoney, I think you mentioned everything, really. I don't remember anything about 2009. Remember that we met at the boathouse and we had a good time, but we quickly came here. And they had a luncheon for us in 2010. We had luncheons. You remember that? They spread out all the food at the back, and then we said, we don't want that. We want to order off the menu. And then we and they were nice enough to give us a little donation to give to each one of the speakers. And I had to ask them for a little more as the prices went up.
Yeah.
And that's the way it goes. So good job, Shoney. I'm sorry you're gonna leave, but we'll all come visit you, okay? Okay.
I'll come visit you.
Pick up the bus out, San Diego.
Hi. Oh, this is about Annie.
Hey.
You're gonna miss her as much, really. So raise your hand if you were a member of the Northwoods Whole Foods Co-op. Look at that.
Wow.
So you remember when she was our manager for a decade, including that odd location in the lobby of the former Ely Theater on Chapman Street. And we kept our overstock on the theater seats in the theater area.
Wow.
So, but anyway, she was just a lovely host and she shared her wonderful energy with all of us, and we love you.
Yeah.
I think everyone here knows the famous things you've done, Steve, while you've been in Ely, at Paragus, beer, performances. You've done a quieter thing too for many, many years with the Listening Point Foundation. Steve has been one of our tour guides for a long time. And there are a couple of characteristics you need to be a good tour guide. One is storytelling. So well done. The other is a passion for being in nature, in wild places, in the wilderness. And when you're doing both, you're telling your stories and you're exhibiting your passion for the wilderness, you are helping those people and the hundreds of people you took on tours and listening from one side of me. You were helping them to move toward keeping that wilderness. So we brought you something. I know you plan to pack up. If you want us to mail it to you, we'll do.
Oh, no. Oh.
Sure.
Oh.
Well, Carl's.
A signed copy of Listening Point.
Wow.
Wow. Fine by who?
Yeah. By Dick. A 1950, look at that.
Wow.
Done.
I'll say really quickly,
Can I give you a microphone?
sure,
Cool.
I do whatever you tell me. Before we moved to Ely, before even thinking of moving to Ely, I read a book, one of Sig's books, that Ann had gotten, that her brother had stolen from a library. And I read it when I was taking the bus to work or whatever, and a few years later, when I decided I wanted to change career paths and go to a college, it was either Crookston had a junior college or Ely had a junior college. I chose Ely because of I've been on some committees, too, but partly because of Sig's writings.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Sweet.
Wow.
Mr. Carl Jones.
Hello, everyone. Steve and I met now 2.5 years ago at Jeff Wright's home. There was a little jam session there, and we played some guitar. This guy can sing, he can play guitar. We had a good time. I heard that he had a band, Finn Hill. I'm gonna go hear these guys someday. And it wasn't that long, a few weeks after, Steve approached me and said, would you be interested in auditioning for a role in Finn Hill, play guitar and sing? And I said, sure, let's do an audition. I went over to his home, we played a few songs together. That went pretty well. I met Lynn and Jeff, the other two members at the time, and we meshed. So we had 2 good seasons, 2 good summers of being Finn Hill and sporting the shirt proudly. And I want to say it means a lot to me, Steve, because I've been playing guitar and singing since I was 19, but this is the first time someone asked me to be in their band.
He's a little taller than you.
Get really close.
Okay, right. You guys. You know, I've known you for 50 years, it feels like. And you're just the rock solid Ely to me. And everywhere I look, you're there. You know, every place we go in the early days, and you know, every time we went into Paragus and the co-op, and we're gonna miss you a lot. But I'm here to speak for the townships, you know, the outer reaches of Ely. So I live in Isabella, which is Stony River Township, and for the last, I'm just gonna say 50 years, but it hasn't been that long, but it feels like that long. Steve has worked with the other Steve, it's always the Steves, it's all about the Steves. To put on the Isabella Christmas bird count. And Steve Schon has been our MC for many, many years, and I think we just had the 50th. We're right in that category now. And I'm not sure how Steve is planning to find an adequate replacement. So, but I wish you well, we all wish you well, and good luck to you.
Yeah.
All right, I see we have one more speaker. Maybe there's, just a last call for speakers. If you'd like, you can hover around here.
Becky's really sorry she couldn't be here. She said to extend her best. And I'm sorry about the screech owl.
Yeah.
It's an inside joke there.
That's a secret, hit.
I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, an inside joke, if you will.
Inside joke.
Yeah.
I'm Audrey, I'm Ann and Steve's niece. And I feel compelled to just say something really quick because Ann and Steve have been a huge part of my life. Every summer we would come up to Ely with my cousins, and it's been just some of my favorite childhood memories that I'll cherish forever. And I always felt like Ann and Steve just had everything figured out, and I always just kind of wanted to be just like them. And so when the opportunity came up to be able to move to Ely, I just couldn't have been any happier. And it's really because of Ann and Steve that have taught me the love of nature and appreciation for the natural world around me. And so now I'm here to live out my Ely dream, and it won't be the same without you guys. And as you can see by the major turnout here, it's going to be a huge loss to the community, but we're all very happy for you, and we'll keep in touch. So.
Oh.
See, nobody mentioned that when you go to the spaghetti dinner, beginning of the winter festival, you gladly pay for it because Steve is collecting the money. He's good at that.
Yeah.
He's also good at being a guy to watch the Vikings lose with at the bar. good guy to cry with. And the twins too, yeah. I also want to just give you greetings from Suzanne Modis, who is out of town, but it was just a great coincidence that returning Eliite Suzanne Modis and Steve Schon were actually in college together many decades ago studying music therapy. And even though you changed occupations, even though we got to see you sometimes in the opera chorus dressed in funny costumes, yeah, your music life here has been therapeutic for us. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you close it out, but why don't you tell the story about the lady who was, loons, the loon lady who was here? You gotta tell that one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Where's the mic? Oh, come on up here, John.
I wanted to tell that one, I forgot.
Good thing you have a friend in Steve P.
Yeah. Speaking of the Vikings, a friend of mine is not doing well. He's coming to the end of his life and he's planning his celebration and stuff. He wants only Vikings football players to be his pallbearers. Because he wants them to let him down one last time.
Hey.
When you first had, give it a little lady's name.
Jerry.
Sherry. I knew Sherry, we did some birding together. I think we might even done one of the Christmas bird con. I knew her, I knew that she was into loons. And we scheduled her for her first talk at Tuesday group. I got here at 1:45, is 10 minutes to, as I would. And I came in and I knew her, but I kind of pretended I didn't. She's in the back of the room talking with her teaching voice, handing out, recruiting loon rangers, handing out loon information, answering questions. This is 11:45. So I come over, I let her go on, there's no stopping her. And at noon, I said to her, and a lot of people didn't know I knew her, I said, well, ma'am, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to stop. We have a regularly scheduled speaker. But she mentioned she really thinks that was pretty funny. She's just a great gal.
Yeah.
And one of our recurring speakers always fills the room when our loon lady.
Oh, yeah.
One of the great speakers we've had. So.
Thank you.
All right, so we do have one last element to our program, but before we get to that, I just want to say I had the pleasure of sitting down with Steve and Ann and recording a What's Up Ely podcast episode recently. And that episode will be available to listen to here around the holiday season. We'll probably be airing it in December, so stay tuned for that. But having the ability to sit down over the course of an hour and hear about the start of their relationship and how music brought them together, and then thinking about the 40 some odd years in Ely and the different things that they did. And I'm so in awe and inspired by all the different work you did, right? It seems like together you had this like quintessential Ely experience. Helped me out, and you worked at Bertines. You ran the co-op for 10 years, sort of. I mean, I know that was a group effort, but you were doing kind of a wide variety of things to make that happen. You worked at a job called Invisible Ink.
Irresistible.
Irresistible Ink. Oh yeah, Irresistible Ink. Oh, that's such a cool business model. Emily, let's get someone to bring that back. Got it. I'll tell you about it later. Sweet. You can listen about it in the podcast. And you worked at Hands on T-shirts.
And both spas.
And both spas. So to me, hearing the story of your time in Ely, Steve and Ann, it was this, I want to go to that college because there's something for me up in this place. I want to move to this town because I think that it will align with my values and my vision for the future. And then you stayed in this town because you were charmed by it and you experienced opportunity that fueled your needs and fed your soul. And then you did what you had to do to stay because you loved it. And you were so entrepreneurial and industrious, and you did whatever you had to do to make it work so that you could do the things you wanted to do in your free time and be a member of the community and hang out with the birds and count the birds and go to Bible study and play music. And that is just really poetic to me because I'm at the start of that journey. I'm gonna tell the same thing. It's really cool to know community elders and be inspired by them. We're totally sad that you're making really wise, thoughtful choices. But we're happy for you too. So I just want to say thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have that conversation with you and to hear your stories, both of you. And we want to celebrate you with a musical tribute. Steve, you've contributed so much to the Ely music scene for so many years as a singer, dancer, and a leader of the band Fin Hill. You both have been such a staple of the Tuesday group community and all of the circles that you run in. So we do have some lyrics that we're going to pass around. We don't have enough for everyone, but we've got some musicians who will come to the front of the room and lead us in song to formally close the program. I have a couple of songs, 2 or 3. And then again, you can hang around, eat the meatballs that are unnecessarily ordered, and have your photo taken. So please keep welcoming the musicians. Be joining us if they can hear me right now, or soon if they can.
We'll do one of Ben Hill's favorites here, called Both Ends of the Train.
Gee, huh? When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one guitarist to bring the E up to its proper pitch. Hold this tune to be self-evident.
Why do we do
Because we care.
Thank you. Our ears appreciate it.
I'm with you. Let's go.
I wrote him in Rockville in 1925. He was doing life. I was doing time. His memory drifted back to me when he was both alive. When Frank and Jesse James were in their prime. He was a corporal for the highway and Sioux. From Sulphur Springs to Kansas Clay. Ran into trouble when his soldiers headed through. Ended up about 1,000 miles away. No ways, fond words, or sad goodbyes. Lay me down on that wide open plain, out beneath the quilted sky. Where I can see both ends of the train. He said, I saw the buffalo, the herds would last for days. Back before the railroad came. Now it's all moved on without me, but I've missed the older ways, and I know it can never be the same. They buried him at Rockville, and his kind won't rise again. I hope his soul finds some rest. To the world he's long forgotten, but to me he was a friend. I still recall his last request. No ways, fond words, or sad goodbyes. Baby, down to the wide open plains, out beneath the silver sky. Where I can see both ends of the train.
That's so many, a whole catalog here. Ooh, what could that one be? Ooh. But we need more parts. We need Jeff for that. That's a Jeff song. But Jeff, that slacker is in Tempe, Arizona. Oh, man. Wonder if we can. How long? How long? We can do a how long.
Okay, all right. In G, yeah. Those of you who know banjo players, everything's in G. It's pretty. What do you call I couldn't help it though. What do you call a beautiful woman on the arm of a banjo player? A tattoo.
Hey.
It's heart removed, lonely as a train. I run just as far as I can run. If I never see the good old days shining in the sun, I'll be doing fine and some. Long, long, woman, will you weep? How long? Rock yourself to sleep.
Well, I've been doing time in lonesome prison where the sun don't shine. Just outside Freedom River. There in that shining night with my downtown mind. Don't you know it's the same sad situation? Oh, how long, and will you weep? How long, rock yourself to sleep?
Apparently an instrumental first. Everybody feels all right, you know. I heard some poor fool say. Everybody out there on the loose. Well, I wish I lived in the land of fools, and no one knew my name. But you cannot quite what to choose. How long, will you wait? How long, you will do? How long, the river runs so deep. How long, my baby, rock yourself to me. Rock yourself, baby, rock yourself to sleep. Years from now, this will only be available on the Finn Hill, the bootleg session. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, but I'm full of guitars.
Do you have one final song?
We're gonna sing a happy
Other side.
trails for it all.
All right, the crowd is welcome to join. The other side of the piece of paper has a verse from Happy Trails.
No. Change the headings of it too. Do it.
It's an abridged version. An abridged version.
Yeah.
Together. Just sing a song and sing for sunny weather. To you. Whistle. Who cares about clouds when we're together? Just singing a dawn and bring the sunny weather. Happy dreams to be. Well, we.
All right, everybody, that concludes our program today. Thank you so much. Don't forget about the opportunity to hang around and have your conversation. If you would like, come with your friends with the persons here.
And take some free music out the landing. Yeah. CDs.
Goodbye.
Yeah.